And that's when I started throwing my own parties, like when I was even before I was 18. Can't take from the community without giving to it. Kind of play in the marketing agency space, but the true background in event production bring the essence of Sports Illustrated to life. If you don't like something, then you should try to make it better. I was in Portugal for the Euro Cup. I remember walking out to the balcony, and I think I heard the entire country take a hold their... Yeah, we wanted to get the city behind us and to see the support that we're getting right now and to see the excitement and the hype. That is what it's all about.
Welcome, TSN 690, iHeartRadio, the first half. It is Friday, June 13th. We have quite a show for you today. We have Skylar Mota, who is the co-founder and president of the Canadian experiential marketing agency called Cruel out of Toronto. They are here in Montreal. Eastern Canada has since evolved into a creative forward experiential marketing agency working with major brands and activating sponsorships, producing large-scale events, and building cultural forward experiences. Huge Portuguese supporter. Very happy what happened with Nations League. CR7 is king, and so we will be talking to him on all things football, events, what it's like to be in that specific space. And again, that's the whole point of the first half, is that we like to meet very interesting individuals doing great things within Canada. Welcome back to TSN 690 iHeartRadio. This is Paul Desmarais, and this is the first half, and Skylar Mota is in studio with us. I read the bio. I got you hyped up. You might want a ticket. You probably can't get a ticket. I don't know. Everybody's hand is up. Maybe I'll try and do this interview and scoop myself a ticket as well. Probably not. I'm down the list. That's okay. Welcome, sir. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, amazing, man. So, read the bio. Again, the industry that you are in is definitely not easy. It's even harder today than ever before, but it's also super rewarding, exciting, and very front-facing with the community, brands. I mean, it's really a 24-hour type day kind of project that you have embarked on as an entrepreneur. How old is the company, Cruel?
We've been at it since about 2012, so 13 years.
So you've gone through a lot. That's amazing. Oh, yeah. How many partners are you guys?
There's 3 of us.
Amazing. And you're based in Toronto, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so now, based in Toronto, F1 weekend, the whole planet's here. So before we get into your background, why don't you give us at the top of this just a little bit of what's happening tomorrow and how long you've been at this specific project?
Yeah, for sure. So tomorrow we're going to be, and tonight actually, we're going to be hosting some events at Gare Windsor, Windsor Station, attached to the Bell Center. And we're going to be hosting the Sports Illustrated Circuit Series. So the Circuit Series is something that the Sports Illustrated team has orchestrated all over the world as an adjacent property to the race weekends. And we brought it to Canada and brought it to Montreal. We have Hugel tonight, and we have Fisher tomorrow, and then Sunday we're going to be doing a big day party with some special guests as well.
Oh yeah, Sunday as well.
Yeah. 3 days.
Nobody knows the special guest. Is that it?
Not yet.
Amazing, very cool. So yeah, 3 days in this city during F1 weekend is more like 2 weeks. Right.
Feels like a lifetime.
Yeah, it feels like a lifetime. Well, that's amazing. That sounds very exciting.
Especially when you're in traffic.
Yeah. Well, Montreal. Yeah. Again, it's not the greatest this time, and we're never here to complain about this beautiful city.
So, it's not a complaint at all.
But we have a thing about specifically doing construction on the roads and blocking things during festivals. I'm not sure where that comes from, but we love it. We love doing it. F1, Osheaga, like it's just a thing.
But but you know what? At the same time, as much as you can complain about being in a car, I do love walking around the city at those times.
Fair.
Montreal in the summertime, I think, is one of the best cities in the entire world.
Totally fair. And you know what? This weather, it's a little cool. It's actually perfect. It's the perfect weather to be actually.
I can't believe it. I can't believe it. After the last few years we've had with rain, I'm very excited for this weekend.
Amazing. Okay, so let's get a little background. Okay. Yeah. So when we were getting a little information on you and sort of getting to know you before we were having the show, we found out about the Portugal connection, definitely down with what happened with Nations League, CR7, the whole 9 yards. But give us a little bit of your background and how did you get into the world of sort of marketing and management and events? and give us a little bit of a tie into where your love of football came from.
Yeah, for sure. Well, from the event stuff, I can say on that side, very similar to a lot of people that end up in the events world. I think I just, loved going to events. My dad brought me to a concert when I was maybe like 10 years old. I got to go
Amazing.
to that big SARS concert that took place, that fundraiser in Toronto with the Rolling Stones and AC/DC. And
Sam Roberts, I think, was at that too.
Oh yeah, I think
everybody,
everyone was there.
Yeah, it's so cool.
That was super cool. And I, even when I get into my later teens, I would always go out, and I think that I loved electronic music, so people would always come to me and to where to go, and that's when I started throwing my own parties. Like when I was like even before I was 18. So I actually started
before
the
you were
business.
18.
Yeah. We just getting people together. I just love the community and getting the friends. Like figuring out something for us to do was always the fun part.
Yeah.
Which has obviously.
There's always somebody like that in your circle. No, but this is the thing. Like this is really a thing. It's in the DNA. There's always a Skylar in the crew that's like just happens to be on the pulse, down with a certain type of music that maybe not the crew is all listening to. Like, oh, check this out. Definitely somebody wants to bring people together, because let's be honest, it's not that it's not fun being alone, but it's way more fun listening to music and getting together with a bunch of boys and girls and you're down to just take it easy together. There's nothing better.
100%. That's what it's all about. Huh. So I was doing that, and then I was at this venue in Toronto called the Hoxton, and I was starting off there, and I was Toronto based, and that's when I met Carl. Carl is the other co-founder of Cruel, and he's at the venue right now, and he was actually in Montreal. He was in McGill, and when we actually met, he was doing all the events here, and that's how the business started. So we were doing Montreal, Toronto, and then we were doing Cruel Queens and all the different university towns. We did about 15 different cities, throwing 5+ parties a week in all of them.
A week.
So at a certain point, we had looked back. So I think from 2012 to 2016 was very we were young, in our early 20s, very university events, concert tours, festival production, building our own brand through content and physical events and light gating our Facebook page with the photos that we were taking, and all of that translated to a big opportunity to work with a big brand, which was Canada Dry Mott's Kamado Canada Dry in 2016. So that was about almost 10 years ago, and that's where we made the formal switch into more of an agency model. From building our own brand, brands started seeing us doing that. We had that opportunity, so we kind of play in the marketing agency space, but with a true background in event production and promotions and culture.
Important.
And I think that a lot of people in the agency world went to school, and there's nothing wrong with it, but they went to school and they worked in an agency and they learned how to do an agency and then they started an agency or something along those lines. Whereas we started throwing events and no one at our business actually has an agency background. So maybe the way that we tackle things is a little bit different. And maybe that's why the way that we brought Sports Illustrated to Montreal a few years ago and the Circuit Series property was a little bit different than maybe other people might have tried to do it.
For the Circuit Series, is that something, because you had mentioned that it's with other races as well, right?
Yeah.
Is there, if you have somebody that follows the F1, and if they go to a Circuit Series here in Montreal, if they go to one in Miami, if they do one in Italy, is it the same type of sort of event, or is there each city? I mean, obviously each city has its flavor for the city. Of course. But is there sort of an element that connects, like if you're going to a private club, around the world?
What you just said actually is exactly it. It's got to be to the flavor of the city, right? So I think that the Sports Illustrated team, that's more the global team, they work with people in each market like us here. And I think that that's the most important thing. They're incredible. They really get it. They trust us to do what we do. And it's really if you go to different places, it'll always be different, but it'll still have that similar feel because of the work that the global team does, even though they're working with different producers all over the world. And we really try to bring the essence of Sports Illustrated to life. I think if you're Sports Illustrated started in 1954, I believe. We're going on 75 years, and they've been a part of so many iconic cultural moments. Yeah. Those magazine covers. Yeah. Right. Jordan with
super famous. Yeah, amazing.
Of course,
amazing
right?
Stuff.
So we really are trying to. I think what Cruel's all about, and the way that we tried to bring this here, is we're trying to create these kind of highly or these cultural moments, or like create these cultural events around these like particular moments, right? You know, it's not so much about these. Sometimes you see these like really big, flashy, branded events that come into town, and it's all a money grab, and they'll just book like they'll try to buy their way into the market.
Yeah.
But you know, when we started this 3 years ago, we did a private event, Place Ville Marie, on the top floor there before it reopened, and you know, invite only. We had Chantal Jeffries, we had Mitch Marner, a bunch of the Canadians, Olympians, and we tried to really get the community of Montreal involved. And that is what brought us to year 2 last year, where we took over Salon Richmond, the church there, and it was amazing. We had the Martinez brothers, obviously, very cool.
Yeah.
Ibiza, Met Gala legends, and we had like a techno church,
That's
but
so cool.
based still around sport culture. So the whole thing in red and the cars, and bringing in a lot of those athletes, and then that's what kind of brought us to year 3, taking over the Windsor Station, attached to the Bell Center, 3 days, thousands of people a day, and it was always the plan from day one. But
To get yourself to that point.
to get the brand here to that point, but we didn't want to just come in year 1 and throw money at it. We wanted to get the city behind us and to see the support that we're getting right now and to see the excitement and the hype. Like you said earlier, that is what it's all about. Like it is definitely so much work from so many different people, our partners, our staff.
Yeah, to make it.
Yeah,
make it
it's truly a village. Like I couldn't name everybody if I had an hour, but and shout out to all those people. But yeah, that moment tonight and tomorrow night and Sunday when we see it, all these people enjoying themselves, and it's a moment that they're going to always remember.
Athletes tend to enjoy having a little time off, which I think is pretty cool, because it's not like the 70s, 80s, 90s. It's not like that anymore, and it's very closed doors. People are hidden. They don't really go out that much. Food is science. Their bodies are I mean, it's just not the same. I mean, the old hockey guys and footballers used to drink and smoke. Like it's just not the case anymore. But a good party and a good opportunity to sort of mingle, dress up, decompress with some other like-minded individuals, other athletes. That's a cool vibe. I can understand why that's such an exciting proposition for everybody to be involved with, and to have a lot of people really excited to be involved with athletes, not performing sports, but just on their own, being themselves for a moment. Is that, you know what I mean? Is that something that really brings this project to life, as well as that opportunity that everybody being invited to it gets to express themselves?
Oh, 100%. I think that's why we are always trying to find unique spaces to do these things in. Like, it's not about, it's not just a Fisher concert where you show up right before he goes on and you listen to him and you go home.
Yeah, right, of course.
A lot of people are going to be coming like right when we open doors, because we have this beautiful property, that massive courtyard, the way the red carpet is designed. You'll see the cars, you'll see the pool, the lounge, all these different places. It's not so much about, drinking and doing all those things that you mentioned. You can still come and enjoy it because the atmosphere that we're setting up. And honestly, and now that I've been a part of this for a few years, I've had the opportunity to talk to so many cool people and meet so many athletes. It's definitely a really cool part about it. Like my friends coming and getting to chat with tons of different NBA players, NFL players, that's NHL players. Yeah.
And that's the other thing too, because if you look at it in that, it's not that Montreal has amazing things constantly going on here, but the F1 is just one of the most international projects and sporting events that there is. I mean, other than the World Cup. And I like to I always trying to find my reference to football.
We're all very excited for the World Cup.
Right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and you're in Toronto too. So anyways, I love it. I'm very excited for where you guys are going with it. And I got to ask you, where does the soccer come from? Where does football come into your life at some point? Is it mom and dad, sister brothers, just kids growing up? Where does that link come from?
Well, I love all sports.
Okay.
Like I love kicking something, throwing something. I'm in.
Amazing. There we go.
I grew up playing hockey and a little bit of football, but soccer for me was just like I grew up in Portugal. My summers with my grandparents.
Oh, is that right?
And they spoke no English, so I would be out there with them, and obviously Portuguese soccer is huge. And I'm a 91, so 2004 I was in Portugal for the Euro Cup when we went to the final in Portugal. And we lost to Greece in that one goal game.
Wow.
And I remember walking out to the balcony of the place, and I think I heard the entire country take a hold there. Yeah, exactly.
Wow, that must have been amazing.
But to witness like how soccer made all those people come together, I remember there was like a random fair like marching band kind of thing. It was like a school kids and the Holland fans like from the Netherlands coming in, and just like the energy
That's
that
amazing.
how everyone came together and seeing that. Yeah, I fell in love with the game, and obviously I also was very lucky to be Portuguese, be there, and that being Cristiano Ronaldo's kind of like I think that was his first tournament.
Did you, while you were in Europe, or when you were I mean, that summer tournament stuff, have you had an opportunity to go to any big game or any football matches in Europe?
I've gone to see Porto games and Benfica games
Amazing.
in Portugal, but I've never, and like I've seen in the new stadiums after they built them for 2004.
That's amazing.
But I never got a chance to go to one of the Euro games. I am definitely going to do my best to get my hands on some tickets to the World Cup games coming up.
Well, yeah, okay. But even going to a Porto game must have been fantastic. I mean, the atmosphere's bonkers, right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
I
Yeah,
mean,
European soccer.
Is there a game that stands out for you specifically that you went to that you can remember that you were just like, oh man, that's that game that I went to and you saw something phenomenal either through the fan perspective or something that happened on the pitch? Or was there something that like rings true to you?
Honestly, when I was younger, I remember going to some Porto games, and Quaresma was playing for Porto, and used to have that. Whenever I played soccer, I would always try and do the outside of the foot kind of curve, just because of him, because he used to have that finesse. And I just remember him putting one of those right inside the corner, and that was always a cool moment. I was always a big fan of his because of that.
Of course.
Yeah,
of
you
course.
always stick with you, right?
World Cup 2026 next year. You guys and your crew, you're based in Toronto. You must be buzzing. Like, I mean, from at least I haven't been to the city recently since, but I know, based on where the fan base is, the fan sections are going to be created. They've already talked about that. They've unveiled the clock. I mean, the city for basically for the next 300 days, all we're going to hear is this, right? Yep. Are you guys going to plan to do anything specific around that project when the World Cup literally comes into your neighborhood, or is that something you just want to go as a fan? You're smiling. Is there something in the works, and I shouldn't ask the question?
No, not at all. It's I mean, as a fan, for sure, I definitely want to participate. As an agency, like we do a lot of sponsorship stuff. So we, sponsor Live Nation, Bud Stage, and we work with a lot of sporting teams across the country as well. So this is obviously something that has been on everyone's radar now for a decade. I think it was all part of the plan with the MLS expansion with Canada for this moment, right? And that's also a big part of the Canadian development of the team. And, it's really exciting to finally be here. Obviously, Toronto and Montreal are both extremely multicultural cities. And when the Euro and the World Cup happen, the streets are crazy. Yeah. But it's always so far away. So I can't even imagine what it's going to be like when they actually bring it there. I'm smiling more professionally because we do have a couple plans.
Very cool.
Cooking right now. Nothing I can necessarily reveal.
No,
but
that's fine. Yeah.
I think that is also like, that's the beauty of kind of these types of things, right? It brings so much creativity to the city. I'm excited not just for what we're planning, but to see what everyone else is also looking to do.
Yeah, amazing. Okay, so we are in studio with Skyler Mota. That's of Cruel Marketing here on TSN 690 iHeartRadio in the first half. We're going to go to commercial break. Then we're going to ask you a couple more questions. And then we're going to definitely do 12 questions. You got to be ready for that one. It's going to be rapid fire, baby. All right. We are brought to you by Quincaillerie Notre-Dame, serving the community for over 135 years in the Sud-West. Support them as they support you. We will be back after this. Welcome back to iHeartRadio TSN 690. This is the first half. Skyler, I'm enjoying this conversation. I also like the fact that you were just jamming out to Eric B. and Rakim. I appreciate that. I appreciate that very much. Listen, the music, we don't change it up. We use the same 4 tracks for the show, or it's part of the thing. But these will last for as long as life itself. They're not going anywhere, these tracks, right?
That's right. They're classics for a reason, right?
They're classics for a reason. Skyler Mota for Cruel Marketing. Thank you for joining us inside the studio. There's nothing better than a live jam. It means the world, and I know you guys are very busy, so I appreciate that, especially with, I didn't realize 3 days. Forget all the production to get it to where we're at, but 3 days of events, one after the other. I know there will be no sleep, but you don't sleep in Montreal anyways during F1 weekend. So
No one
give
sleeps.
us, no one sleeps. So give us a little background and sort of information on what's up with the agency and sort of, what it is that you guys do, because I mean, agency's so broad, right? So how would you describe some of the pillars that you guys are about?
Yeah, for sure. I know. Yeah, exactly. You hear agency like all the time, right? So for us, like as an agency, there's kind of like three pillars. I think. Like I kind of told you a little bit earlier about how we kind of got here, but how it boils down today. Like I think that the first pillar is like where we do a lot of our kind of like work is the traditional agency services. Specifically in the experiential world, which means events, sponsorship, activation, sampling, all that sort of stuff, and we work with. Big alcohol companies, big drink companies, big cheese companies. We love cheese. But
I love that.
Oh yeah,
That's good.
But then one of the other pillars, there's three of them, is the event production. So that's what we're doing here today. We used to produce thousands of events. Now we produce very few, but we obviously they're much bigger. Like this weekend, we done some stuff in Paris Fashion Week, and like this is all now about taking all that expertise and also taking now our understanding of the brand world and how we can actually leverage that, not for necessarily cash grabs, but leverage it to tie brands into culture, to support things, to make these moments super special. And I think that is kind of like a little bit of the special thing about Cruel, was that we kind of like knew culture and cool because that's where we started, and then we learned the kind of like corporate worlds, and I think that we do a really good job of translating those two into each other, and that is super important to us. So like those events are all meant to be like, even the World Cup, for example, like an amazing moment. So how can we do something that's gonna like really resonate with people
and add, not just be
exactly
right, not just be part of it.
It's not about
but really,
doing stuff for the sake of doing it. It's about doing things that are needed. I know that we're in Montreal, but in Toronto, like, sometimes like people like to complain about Toronto and about culture in Toronto, like, oh, I want to get out of Toronto. But the thing is that if you don't like something, then you should try to make it better. Yeah. And I think that when it comes to anything, that's always the way that we kind of approach things. So the third pillar is actually the community, which goes back to that point. Yeah. Everything that we have, everything that we've done is all started with our community, right? I think that all those events that we threw, like, we made so many great friends, and they've gone all over the world, and that's what's actually allowed us to be here today doing what we're doing, right? Because like I mentioned, it takes a true village to pull these things off.
I have a question, actually. Do you guys take that same energy and strength and the fact that you can galvanize all those people, and do you actually look towards how some of these brands, yourselves and some of the people that follow you, can actually change community in a positive way, give back, find ways to help local community centers, I mean, there's not one neighborhood anywhere in the world that doesn't need the people that live there to help in some way.
Of course.
Has that been something that you guys have looked to try and use your sort of your strength with these big brands? There's some dollars and cents included that you're able to say, you know what, we're gonna take a little extra time here and try and figure out a way to help something that's right next to us.
Yeah, for sure. I think that is really the basis of that last pillar, that community aspect. It's you can't take from the community without giving to it.
Amazing.
Right?
Totally.
And we that's really important. So for us, like, every second that we're not kind of doing those first two things, we're doing the third. And even when we're doing those other things, like, we are also keeping that in mind. When it comes to sponsorship, we're not just going to sponsor the NHL teams and the big couple concert producers. Mm-hmm. We're trying our best to work with cultural festivals in every community, not just in like downtown center. So all the way across the country, when we're working with Surrey Fusion Festival in Vancouver, or the Sound of Music Festival here in like Burlington, like, we try to spread it out across as many partners as possible. But also, like, on the more community side, like, we I'm trying to think of which projects. I mean, obviously the Breast Cancer Canada is a big partner of ours. We it's a cause that's touched a few people at our business deeply, and we decided to do during COVID a social media campaign that was all based around raising money, and at each tier something silly would happen. And it's the big finale was actually me and my business partner getting slimed, like Y2K slime.
Oh yeah, amazing.
In our office in like a little kiddie pool. So it was so much fun. It was so successful that we threw a little party after. It was like at the end of COVID. This is probably 2021, 2021, and we had a little get together, and it went so well that it turned into a gala that is now become very popular. We've raised hundreds of thousands of dollars for Breast Cancer Canada.
Amazing.
And we've actually now taken some work with them like across the country, and really
to sort of
helped,
take that along and spread that into the community, get people juiced up, have fun, while bringing up very important subjects.
Well, yeah, it's like we're bringing the brands that we're working with into that to support them. Like we're bringing people together, we're raising awareness, and it's like that's one of many projects that we do, and it's just it's super important to us to use the gifts and tools that we were given to support everyone else as well. That helps us out every day.
There is no better way. That's where we're leaving it. That is no, but I mean, what do you want me to say, dude? Skylar, that's bang, nail over right on the head. That is amazing. Congratulations on that, by the way. It's
not just me, but thank you.
So congratulations to you and the team and the crew and your partners, because yes, you're right. It's never one person, but to do that, to spend that energy for not for you, for something else, is rewarding, dude. Like that's amazing. Congratulations. So now we're gonna get ourselves to 12 questions. You ready for this? It's rapid fire. Because ready, your boy didn't give you the proper. This is good. This is good that you're not ready, because it's a setup. It's a setup, but they're very fun questions. You can't answer it wrongly. So you ready to do some 12 questions here on the first half?
Let's do it.
All right, amazing. All right, 12 questions here on the first half with Skylar Mota. All right, you ready to go?
Let's do it.
All right, question 1. What is your favorite film?
Favorite film?
Yeah.
Doctor Strangelove.
Amazing. You're definitely. I
gave away a lot.
I can see this. I can see this. Number 2. What is your favorite song or band?
Favorite song or favorite band? Honestly, I'd have to say Oasis.
Amazing. Are you going to go see them?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Of course.
That's so cool in Toronto too, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Number 4. Favorite athlete, dead or alive?
Michael Jordan. Come on.
Number 3 or 4. Favorite sports team, because these two are they're so intrinsically connected.
Sadly, Toronto Maple Leafs.
Yeah, you can't do that. You don't have to say sadly. It's your team, man. It's all good.
I love them to death.
That's how it is, though. If you're a proper supporter, you're down with the ship. You go down with that ship.
Oh, 100%.
What is your favorite food?
Favorite food? Portuguese chicken. Come on.
I mean, come on. Dude, I'm Portuguese. What do you want? What is your favorite drink, alcoholic and non-alcoholic?
Alcoholic, we're going tequila. Non-alcoholic, we're going Mexican Cokes.
Mexican Coke?
Yeah,
it's a different recipe. Yeah. So in the bottle, right? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
What would be one thing you would buy if you won the lottery?
One thing I'd buy if I won the lottery? I mean, it's a tough one. Probably buy some motorcycles for me and all my friends.
Super cool. We're doing 12 questions with Tyler here on the Skylar, here on the first half. Dream trip is the next question, sir.
Dream trip? I think it'd probably be Socotra. You know about that?
Cool. No.
It's an island off the coast of Africa, Yemen. Technically, it's part of, and it's the most alien place on Earth. I had a friend go there. I really want to check it out.
That sounds amazing. Oh my gosh, we're going to do a little research on that one for the clip. How do you deal with stress?
For me?
I'm laughing because you got that. That's a big one.
Yeah, I'm like, honestly, I forget. I don't know what that is. For me, it's sports, trying to get back on the ice or anything. Just meet up with the friends, shoot some hoops, kick some balls.
Love it. For the first half after dark, sir, pajamas or no pajamas?
No PJs.
No PJs. Number 11, what is your favorite fashion brand at the moment?
My favorite fashion brand is the one that I'm wearing right now, Mr. Saturday. Won Men's Designer of the Year.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Good friend. Cool guy.
Canadian?
Yeah.
Even better.
Oh yeah.
Name one thing you cannot live without.
My family.
No, of course you can't. You had to answer that, or I thought you were going to maybe drop into a motorcycle. And number 12.1, it's a little sneaky curveball. I need one word to describe football. So football is
The best.
amazing.